Hello guys and welcome back to a new video, and in this video we are going to render our post here. So first in this video we are going to render our post, and then we are going to work on the functionality of our post, like user will be able to like and then comment on the post. Now the first functionality is to like the post and then comment on the post. After commenting, a user will be able to see all comments, then also reply to other comments and also see other reply to a comment and also like the other comments. Okay, so this is all that we are going to do here, and in this video the comment part is the most important. So let's get started and start working on this. Now first thing we are going to do is we are going to create our left part here, which will be menu option. So this will be inside our left side folder. We can have our menu option component. Now inside our div we can give this a class name, and width will be 1/4 and p5. Now max md, it will be hidden. So below 768 we are going to hide this component. Now inside that we can have one more div with a class name of flex call. Now inside that we are going to have different component, and this will be a very small component, so we can write const menu item, and this will have icon, label, and then href. Now let's define the type here. So type menu item props. It will have icon, which will be react element. Then second will be label, and this will be string, and then href, and this will be string as well. Now let's add our type here. Inside our component we are going to have a link tag from next link. Now the href will be href. Then we can have a class name flex item center space x6 py2 hover text will be pink 500, cursor pointer and opacity will be 75. Maybe we can have 80 here, and on hover we can have opacity 200. Now inside the link we are going to have our icon, and below that inside span we can have label. Now inside our menu option component, let's define our menu items. So menu items, and this will be an array of object. Now in each object we will have icon, and this will be home, which we can import it from Lucid React. Then we are going to have label, which will be home, and href, which will be slash. Now duplicate it. Second icon will be layout grid, label will be image gallery, and href will be image gallery. So for now we are going to have these two objects. Later we are going to add more as we go in the project. Now we are going to map over the menu items. So menu items dot map menu item, and then index parenthesis, and then we are going to have our menu item component. Key will be index, icon will be menu item. Let's change this to item, and icon will be item dot icon. Label will be item dot label, and href will be item dot href. Now let's close this, and menu item cannot be used as a JSX component. So what it is saying, now here we are getting an error, and to solve this, either you can do this, so either you can return, and inside that you can wrap our link, or you can remove this curly parenthesis or bracket and wrap it around a small parenthesis. So in both ways the error will go away. And below this we can add our separator here. So let's go to section and install the separator here. We can add one more terminal, install it. Now let's add it here, separator, and give this a class name, and class will be my4. Now that's all we want, because right now this component will not be in use, but because we are working on the home page, we have to make some part of this component. Now what we can do here, let's go to the page.tsx here, and here we are going to add our menu options. Now give this a class name of max width of 1300 pixels mx auto to make everything in center, and after that we can have one more div, and inside the div we can have a class name flex, and w will be full. Now wrap our middle component inside a div, and let's give this a class name. Height will be 90 vh, then overflow y auto, width will be 2 by 4 py5, and mx4 px4. Now let's save and go back to our browser, refresh it, and now as you can see we have our left portion here. Let's also make this, and as you can see we have our left part here. Now let's change the width a little bit. So above LG we are going to have this, above MD we are going to have width of 3 by 5. So we are increasing the width a little bit of our middle component. Same we are going to do with this. So above LG we are going to have this width, above MD we are going to have 1 by 5 width, 1 by 5. Okay, and then we can go to the middle part and new post and remove this width. Now let's save, and as you can see we have our menu option, then the middle part, and then we are going to have our right portion that we are going to make it later. Now let's give some, I think we can have some margin above. So let's go to the menu option again, and my5 we can have this, and now this is good, mt5. And now the main thing that we are going to do is work on the middle part. So below the new post, we are going to have our all post that we are going to render here. So we are going to make a one more component here. Now below this, we are going to add one more component, which will be post render. You can name it whatever you want, and that component we are going to make it here, post render.tsx. Let's import that here. Now first thing what we are going to do here is to get our post data. So inside our post we can have get post and then route.ts, and we can copy these and paste here. And then we are going to have our function, which will be a sync function, and HTTP request will be of type get. Then we are going to have request of type next request, and inside the function first we are going to check if we have session or not. So we can write session is equals to get server session and pass the options. And if we don't have session, then we can return, and if we don't have session we can return, and we have to await it. Next response .json, and inside that we can pass an error that user must be logged in. After that we are going to get our search params. So we can get the search params, which will be new URL search params, and inside that passed request dot URL dot split, and it will be splitted from the question mark, and we are going to get the second value of that array. So here we are going to do cursor based pagination. If you want to learn more about that, you can go to the Prisma pagination cursor based one, and you can read it about here. Okay, we are going to do the cursor based pagination here. Now from the search params we are going to get two params. So that const take is equal to search params dot get take. Next will be last cursor, and this will be equals to search params dot get last cursor. Now let's get our try and catch block, and in the try block we are going to get our post. So const post is equals to await prisma dot post dot find many, and here we are going to apply the where condition, which will be type, and the type will be type post, which we are going to get from the search params as well. So we can write const type post is equals to search params dot get type post. Okay, and this will be as a type of type post. Now if we leave it here, the post will only return these values, but we also want images and videos as well. So what we can do here is we are going to include those tables here, video, which will be true, and images, and this will also be true.
Along with that, we are also going to get author, and from author we are only going to get its name. So select name true. Now if we need anything further, we will come here and add those uh, properties here inside include. Now after include, we are going to add take, and its value will be take that we are getting from the search params, and if it's available, we are going to pass int take as a string. Otherwise we can have value of 10. So if we have take, then we are going to pass int and change this to an integer so that we can use it to get a particular number of posts. If we don't have, then we are going to use the number 10, so we will get 10 posts at first. After that, we are going to use our cursor. So first we are going to spread our cursor. So let's spread our last cursor, and inside an object we are going to pass the properties. So first we are going to skip 1, and why we are skipping 1, you can read it here, that why we are skipping 1. So let's go, and here they have written if you do not skip 1, your result will set include your previous cursor. That's why we are skipping 1. And after that we can add cursor here, and the id will be equals to last cursor as string. Okay, so last cursor or the cursor is basically id of our post, and based on that we are going to use the pagination here. Now after that we are going to sort our post, and we are going to sort it on the basis of its creation date. So we can write created at, and it will be descending. So first we are going to show the latest post and then other post. Now after we get our post, we are going to pass two params in our metadata, which will be last cursor and also a boolean which has next page, which will be a boolean. So that will tell us if we have enough data to have the next page or not. So we can check it here. If the post dot length is equals to 0, then we are going to return new response, and inside that json dot stringify, and this will contain our data. So data will be empty array, then pass the metadata, and this will contain our last cursor, which will be null, and a boolean which has next page, which is equals to false. And after that we are also going to pass our status code. So status will be 200. Now this is when we are getting post length is equals to 0. Now if we have something in our post, that means the length is not 0, then we can write const last point in result, type will be any, and this will be equals to post dot length -1. So this will be the last point in result, and then we are going to assign the id of the last post to the cursor. So that const cursor is equals to last is equals to last, this will be last, so last point in result dot id. So this is cursor, and this will also be our last cursor. Now we are going to need our next page, so we can have const next page is equals to await prisma dot post dot find many, and here we can pass take, and take will be same as this one, so we can just copy this and paste it here, and then skip one post. After that we are going to add our cursor, so cursor will be id, and this id will be equals to this cursor. Okay, lastly we are going to have our data, so at const data is equals to an object. Inside that we are going to have our data, which will be post. Then we are going to have our metadata, and inside that pass the last cursor, and its value will be cursor. Then has next page, and this value will be next page dot length. If it's greater than 0, then we are going to have a next page. And lastly we are going to return next response dot json and pass the data. And lastly we are going to catch our error, so we can console the error here. Let's console the error, and also we can write error fetching post data. Then we can return next response dot error. And this was all that we need to do inside our API for now. We are going to include some more things here later, but for now this should be enough for our post as well as for the pagination. Now let's save and go back to our post render component here. And now in this component we are going to use infinite query from 10 stack create query for fetching our data and for the pagination. And before that, let's define our data type. So that export interface and post data, and this will extend the type post, and inside that we are going to have images, and this will be type of image from Prisma client, but we are going to write it as image type. Similarly we are going to have video as video type, and this will be image type, and this will be an array. Similarly we are going to have videos, this will be video type array. Along with that we are also going to have author. Inside author we are going to have name, and name will be of type of string. Now let's also define our query params, so we can write type post query params. Inside that we are going to have take, which will be a type of number, so we can have number. Then we are going to have last cursor, and this will also be optional, and it will be string since we are using id as a cursor. Lastly we are going to have type post, and this will be a type of string. Maybe we can write type post. Okay, and inside our function we are going to write our query function, so we can write const all post is equals to async function, and here we are going to pass our params. So inside here we can pass our params, which will be take, last cursor, and type post, and this will come from post query params. Now inside the function we are going to get our response. So response is equals to await, and we are going to use axios dot get method, and inside that we are going to pass first API endpoint, which will be /API /get post, and then we are going to pass our params. So we can pass our params, which will be take, last cursor, and the type post. And after we get our response, from response we are going to get data, so we can return response dot data, and we can use question mark sign if it's null. And now we are going to use infinite query from time stack create query, and for that let's install that first. So inside the terminal write npm I @time stack /react query. I think there is some problem. Let's go here and let's search for time stack query react npm. Copy this and paste it here. Okay, now this is installing. Now other than that we are going to use one more package for our pagination, and that will be npm I react intersection observer. Now let's import our infinite query here. Let's also import our use view from react intersection observer, and we can write here use in view. Now inside our component we can define a ref here, const ref in view is equals to use in view, and below this we can write our use infinity query. So that const then object and equals to use infinite query. Now from infinite query we are going to get data error is loading, has next page, its success is fetching next page. And here inside the use infinity query we can pass our query function, and inside that we are going to pass our page params. Initially we are going to have empty string, then we are going to call our all post function, so all post, and inside that we can pass our values. So take will be let's say 5, then last cursor will be page params, then type post, and this will be equals to type post dot post. And I think we have to remove this from here and close this. Now we are going to write our query key, and query key will be post, then we are going to have get next page params, and this will be an function, and inside that we are going to pass last page, and inside the function we are going to return last page metadata dot last cursor, and lastly we are going to have initial page params, and this will be equals to undefined, and this should be page param, this should be page param, and this should be last cursor, and this will be an equal to sign. So this way we are going to fetch our data. We are going to use infinitely query to get our data. We will also get error is loading and other states that we are going to use in this component. After that we are going to have use effect, and inside that we can write if in view and has next page. So if both are true, then we are going to fetch next page. Fetch next page. I think I did not add it here, so we are going to add fetch next page as well. So we are going to invoke this function which will fetch additional data using infinite query if this condition is true. And in the dependency we can add has next page, then in view and fetch next page. So these are the dependencies for use effect. And now let's check if we have any error. So if we have any error, it will be type of any. Then we are going to return our component here, and then that we are going to have a div. Now give this a class name, and class name will be empty10. And inside the div we can have a message. We can write enable to fetch post. So let's save and let's go to our website, refresh the page, then go to the console, and let's make this a client component first. Use client. Now save. No query client set. So we need to add a query client provider, and for that let's make a query client provider here. So name will be query wrapper .tsx tsrafc. Actually let's delete this from here, and we are going to make in the main component folder. So name will be query wrapper .tsx. Now what we are going to import here is query client and query client provider from TanStack React Query. So let's import our query client from TanStack React Query, and we can get query client and query client provider. Now remove this, and we can have our query client provider, and here we are going to provide the client. So let's make our client here, and client will be so that const query client, and this will be equals to new query client, and we can pass it here. And now let's add our children here, and we can add children here as well, and its type will be React node. So that children and type will be React node. So this will be our query provider. Now let's save and go back to our post render, or you can go to the middle component, and we can have our query wrapper here, and this will have our post render. So now let's save and go back here, and we have to make this client component so that we can use it in a client component. and now as you can see there's no error. So let's go again here and console our data if we have any. So we can console our data here, and we are getting undefined. So let's see what is happening here. Metadata dot last cursor. So the problem is in our API, and this should be metadata with capital T, and here as well. Now let's save and go back to our post render and then our website. And as you can see, now we are getting our data here. We are getting page array1, page params, and pages. Inside pages we are getting our data, and data is 4. So we are getting 4 post which have type post. As you can see here, all have type post. And then we also have metadata with last cursor and has next page is true. Now let's give this div a class name, and margin top will be 8. Now inside that we are going to map over our data. So data, and from the data we are going to get to the pages, as we have seen here that our data inside our pages. Then we are going to map over our page. So page, then an arrow function, and here we are going to go to the data from page and then map over it. Now from the data we are going to get post, and the type will be post data. So we can write post data, and we're also going to get index here, and its type will be a number. Another arrow function, and then curly braces. And now here we are going to check the data length. So if page dot data dot length is equals to index plus 1, then we are going to return a div, and this div will have key, index, and the ref is equals to ref. Else we are going to return a simple div here. Now they both will have a same component here, so we can write post render data, copy this and paste here. And now let's make this component below our post render. So we can write post render data. Now this component will have data, and the type will be data, which will be type of post data. Now let's pass our data here, which will be post, and same here. Now inside the return we are going to get card from here, and then we can give this a class name. So give this a class name of p4 my6, and now inside our card we are going to have a div. Give this a class name of flex item center space x4, and inside our div we can have our image tag. So image, this will come from next image. Now src will be, right now we are going to use static image here, which is image 4. Then we are going to change, later we are going to also get our image from our API. Right now we are using a static image here. Width will be 40, height will be 40, or it will be image, and then we are going to give this a class name. So class name will be rounded full. To make it circle, h of 40 pixels, object cover, and then we are going to provide the position of object, which will be object top. Now with image we are going to have div with a class name of text sm, and inside that we can have name of the author, so that data dot author dot name, and this will be inside a p tag. So let's wrap it inside a p tag here. Let's save and go back to our browser, refresh it, and as you can see we have 4 posts here. Right now we are only showing the name of the authors and their images, which is right now a static image. Let's go to the API here and also include image. So we can include image, which will be true, and then let's go to our post render, and now let's go above, and we are going to include image here as well, which will be a type of string. Now instead of providing the static image, we can have a dynamic image. So we are going to use ternary operator here, which is data dot author dot image. If it's available, then we are going to have data dot author dot image. Otherwise we are going to have a static image dot jpg. Save, and this should be colon. Save it, and you will see now we have Google image here, and this is the static image, since this user does not have any kind of image. Now below this div we are going to have carousel from UI carousel, and inside that we are going to have our carousel item, carousel content. Let's give this a class name, and that would be w full and h full. Inside our carousel content we are going to map over the images and videos, so that data dot images dot map image can index, and inside that we are going to have carousel item, and also provide key here. So key will be index, and give this a class name of relative, of position relative, and inside the carousel item we are going to have image tag, src will be image dot url, and then provide class name, and that would be rounded md workflow hidden position relative. Let's copy and paste it below, and instead of images we are going to have videos here, videos, and we can change this to video, and here as well. And below this carousel content we are going to have carousel next and previous button, so we can have carousel next, and class name one position, and position will be right 0. Close this, and then we are going to have carousel previous, and give it a class name of left 0. Now let's save and go back to our browser, refresh it, cannot read properties, so we can add question mark here to make it optional. Now let's save and go back here. Okay, let's open our page, data, and inside that we should have our images here. So here we have image, so we need to change here this to image, and let's also change this to value as we are having value here. And now let's go here, we can have image and video here, video, this should be video, and here as well. Now let's save and go back here, and now we should have our components here with images. Now let's go again in our component and wrap our carousel inside a div and give this a class name of empty2. So now we have a space here, and let's go to our post creation, now new post, and remove the px4 and also mx4. Yeah, now this is good. We have our images here, and why it is not rendering the image? We do not have image here. Okay, so we can add a condition here, here, that if we don't have an image, so data dot images and data dot video, if we have both or even one, so let's use the or operator here. If we have any of these, we can have our carousel here. Let's save, and still there is this next button, so we can change this to data.image.length, and if it's greater than 0, and same for this one, then we are going to show the carousel here. And now as you can see, we do not have our buttons here. And let's see the first data, why it is so. Yes, this is blank because the second is a video, and for that we need to have a video here. And remove the alt tag, we can add auto play and also add controls, and now we have our video here. So we have our video here and our image. Okay, in this we don't have any kind of video, in this we have image, only one image, and in this we have image, a video, and yes, only image and video. Now one thing I want to show you, that when I refresh, let's refresh it, and first you see that we are getting four data here. Okay, and inside metadata we have has next space true, that means it is going to fetch another time for our data. So now if I scroll down, as you can see, as I reach at the bottom, our fetch next function got triggered, and now we have two data in our pages. In first we have 4 datas, and in second we have 0 datas, and in the metadata now the has next page is false. That means it is not going to fetch more data here. Now below this we are going to have one more div with a class name of mt5 grid call 2 and gap will be 10. Now inside that we are going to have one more div with a class name of relative, and inside that we are going to have image tag. Now it will have src, and that will be, for right now, it will be image 4.jpg. Actually here the images are the user's image that has commented on the post, but right now we don't have any kind of comment on the post. That's why we are using static image here. Now let's give this width of 40 and height will be 40. Height will be 40. Alt will be image, and then we can have class name. Now class name will be rounded full h of 40 pixels and object cover, object top. Let's duplicate 2 times. Absolute left 25 pixels and top 0, shadow and shadow gray 200. Now let's copy this and we can paste it here, and we can change this to 45. After this div we are going to have one more div with a class name of flex item center, justify around, and inside this we can have a p tag with a class name of text sm, and opacity will be 50. Now inside that we are going to have, we can add 13 comments, so this will be the count and comment, and when we click on this we will be able to see our comment and also make comment, which we will so we will work on this later. Similarly we are going to have likes, so we can have like 200 likes, and we are going to work on this as well, and in this case we are just going to show the number of likes. Now after this we are going to have a separator, and we are going to get it from a component. Give this a class name of my4, and after this let's show our content here. So after this div we are going to have one more div, and this will have classes p4 and my2, and inside that we are going to first check if we have content or not. So data dot content, and if we have, then we are going to render a p tag. Now since we have content as html, we are going to use dangerously set in html to render our content. So we can have dangerously set in a html, then inside that html will be data dot content, and now let's save, and as you can see now we have our content here, but as you can see this has no css at all, but we want our css here. So what we can do is we are going to apply the same css that we used in our post creation. So let's go to the editor content area and copy this, then post render and add this css here, and now the css has been applied. Let's make one more post here to show you. So let's make post 5. Let's make this h2, and then that this is post 5 just to show the css. We can make it bold and make this italic. Also, let's add a link here. So we have a link slash mini. Let's add an image here, then submit. And now as you can see, our CSS has been applied here. We have post 5, which is h3 tag, then italic and bold, and also we have our link here, and this is opening here. So our CSS is working here. So now we have our images and videos, we have our content, and below this we are going to show the like button, comment button, and save and share button. So now we are going to work on the functionality of this post. So we will be able to like, comment, share, and save a particular comment. So let's start working on it. And the first thing that we are going to do is to make our models in the Prisma. So let's go to the Prisma, and here we are going to make some more models here. Actually, before that, let's make our skeleton for our post. So we can make one more component named post skeleton 36. Let's go to the site scene, and then the skeleton we are going to install this. And let's copy this. And let's import this. And what we can do here is remove and change the width to full, and height would be 400 pixels. Now go to the post render, and below this, so if the data is loading, then we are going to return. Inside that we are going to pass our post skeleton. Let's save and check if it's working or not. As you can see, we are getting a skeleton, but this is not what we want. So let's go to the post skeleton again, and here we are going to change it. First we are going to add empty 8, and then we are going to have a card here. Okay, so add a card and give this a class name. So class name will be w full, and h will be 400 pixels, and then we can cut from here and paste here. So now in card we are going to have image and the name. So we can add div here, class name flex item center, and space x 4, and then the skeleton will be width of maybe 10, h will be 10. Let's go here and check what we have given the width. So the width is 40 pixels, so we can change this, and this is 40 pixels. Okay, now after this we are going to add one more skeleton, and the w will be full, and height will be 3. Now let's save, refresh it. As you can see, this is looking something like this. Let's add padding of 4, and then we are going to change the skeleton color. So we are going to add the bg gray color 7 or maybe 800 for dark, and bg gray 100 for the light. Copy this and paste here, and let's also change the width, which will be in this case maybe 200 pixels. Now refresh. As you can see, we have a beautiful skeleton over here. Then below this div we are going to have one more skeleton, and this time the width will be full, so W will be full. Let's give the height of 300 pixels, and I think that's it. And also give rounded MD, and then add this CSS here, and let's also give margin top of 2. Refresh it, and now as you can see we have our beautiful skeleton over here. Let's check for the light, and this is the skeleton. Yeah, looking good. You can change the color for the dark if you want more darker or maybe more lighter, but this will be skeleton for our post. So with that, now let's go to our Prisma and start writing the models for comment, like, save and share. So now first model will be our comment model. So that model comment, and inside that first we are going to have our ID and change this to comment. After that we are going to have content, and this will be a type of string, then created at, and this will be a type of date time, and default value will be now. Then we are going to have author ID, and this will be a type of string. And now let's define relation. So author user relation, fields will be author ID, reference will be ID, and on delete cascade. After that we are going to have post ID. It will be a type of string, then make a relation, fields will be post ID, reference will be ID, on delete cascade. After that we are going to have parent comment. Since a user will be able to reply or comment to other comments, that's why we are introducing parent comment in our model. And this will be a comment, and this will be a comment which will be optional, and the relation will be, let's give this a name, comment to comment. Then fields will be parent comment ID. So let's make this first, parent comment ID, and this will be a type of string which will be optional, and then write parent comment ID. The reference will be ID, and then we are going to on delete cascade. Then we are going to add replies, and this will be comment array, and the relation will be comment to comment. So we can copy this and paste here. So whatever user reply to another comment, this will be stored in replies, and the relation will be comment to comment, and these two value will be used in the reply. Now let's add comment to user and post. So we can add comment here, which will be comment, and then user comment. Now let's make our model for like. This will have ID, and ID will be this, and change this to like. After that we are going to have created at, and this will be date time, and default value will be now. After that we are going to have user id type of string, then define a relation user relation, field will be user id and reference will be id on delete cascade. Then we are going to have post id and comment id, so we can just copy the post id from here and paste it here. And after that a user will also be able to like a comment. That's why we are also going to add comment id here, which will be a type of string, but this will be an optional. Now let's define relation here. Comment relation, fields will be comment id, reference will be id and on delete cascade. Now let's add like to comment user and post, so we can add like and this will be like array. Copy this and paste here. And here as well. And there is some problem, and this will be an optional. Now after like we are going to have model for save, so that model save, and this will have a id and change this to save. After that we are going to have created add, type will be date time and default value will be now. Then we are going to have our user id, it will be a type of string, then user, to make the relation add the relation, field will be user id and reference will be id and on delete cascade. After that we are going to have our post id, we can just copy that from here and paste here. Now let's add our save here, so inside the post we are going to have save and this will be save. Copy this and paste here. After that we are going to make one more model for sharing, so that model share, and this will have id, change this to share. Then we are going to have the post id. After that we are going to have shared to id and it will be type of string, and second will be shared from id and this will be string as well. Now for the relation both will be user, so we can write shared to user relation, then provide a name here which will be shared to relation, field will be shared to id and the reference will be id on delete cascade. We can copy this and paste here and change this to shared from and here as well. Now let's add our share to the post, so we can write share, which will be share, and as for the user we are going to write it will be like this, shared 2, and this will be share, and then we are going to provide the relation. So relation will be shared to. Let's go below and copy this and paste here. Second will be shared from. This will be share, and then provide the relation, and then name, and name will be this one. Let's go below. I forgot to change this, so this will be shared from ID. So with that, we have created our 4 models here: comment, like, save, and share. And now let's do the migration to create these tables in our database. So write npx prisma migrate dev. Give this a name, so we can write created comment, like, share, and save table. And now let's go to our post render component, and now below separator we are going to add our user engagement component. So that user engagement, let's make it here, user engagement.tsx. Let's import that here. And now what we are going to do here is we are going to pass the data here. So let's pass our data as post inside it, and then go to the user engagement, and here define the data type. So we are going to have post here, and the data type will be post data, that we are going to get it from the post render component. And let's just structure our props here from which we are getting post. And now let's get our current user, which is logged in. For that we are going to import use session, and from that we are going to get data, which will be session is equals to use session, and then we are going to define a state. So we can write is loading, set is loading is equals to use state, type will be boolean, and initial value will be false. Now we are going to first work on the like button. So we are going to write function for liking our post. So we can write const like post is equals to arrow function, and this will be an async function. So in this function, first we are going to check the status of the like button. So we can write const is liked is equals to post dot like. As you can see that we don't have like in our post, so what we can do, first go to the get post and then include likes, and then go to the post render and here add like as well. So we are going to add like here, and type will be like from Prisma client. So in the data, as you can see here in the pages, we have like, so name is like, so it will start from the small letter. So you need to check what kind of data we are getting here, and based on that you can change the type here. Now let's go here, and now we can uncomment this dot like. So what we are doing, that first we are getting the post and all likes, and from those likes we are finding that like which is liked by this particular user. If not, then we will get this as a false. If yes, then we will get this as a true. So we can find that by using .sum method, and inside that we can write like. This will be a function. So like dot user id, and this will be equals to session dot user, and from user we are going to get id. Now we don't have id in the session, but we are passing our id in our next auth here. As you can see here, we are passing id in our session, so we need to update our type of session. For that we need to make a file inside our src, and name will be next auth.d.ts, and then we are going to use this code. So we are getting next auth and default session type, and we are extending that type with id, and its type will be string. If I save and go back to our component, then middle and user engagement, you can see that now we don't have any kind of error here. Then we are going to define a state here, so we can write const is like and set is like. It will be use state, type will be boolean, and initial value will be is like. Now let's console this and check if I have liked it or not. This should be false, liked, okay, or you can write is like. Let's save and go back to browser. As you can see, this is false, as I have not liked any of these. Okay, now let's remove this, and inside a like post, so whenever a person click on the like button, first we are going to change the state so that we can immediately show the user that user have liked this post. So we can write set is like, and we are going to change the state of is like. Then we are going to set loading is loading to true, and then we are going to use a try and catch block, and here we are going to call our API. So we can write our response await access dot post, and then provide our API route slash like post, and then inside that we are going to pass our post ID, post dot id. Okay, and then we are going to console our response dot data. If we got any error, we are going to console that error, so we can write error liking the post, and then we can pass our error here. After all this, we are going to set is loading to false. And now let's go to inside our div, and here we are going to write, we can give this a class name of flex item center, justify between text sm and px5. Now inside this div we are going to have one more div and on click handler, and this will call our like post function. Along with that, we are also going to have our classes flex item center space x2 cursor pointer, and then we are going to use the loading state here, so we can write if is loading is true, then we are going to have an opacity of 50 and pointer event none, otherwise we are going to have nothing. so this is default. And now inside our div we are going to check if is like is true, then we are going to show this icon FAHEART heart. We can import it from React icons, so that import FAHEART from React icon /FA. Let's give this color of red and size will be 22. If this is false, then we are going to display a different icon which will be heart from Lucid React, and then this time we are going to pass the class name and give this a text neutral 500. Now let's save and go back to our browser, and now you will see we have a like button here. Now if I click on this right now, we will get an error here. So as you can see here that we did not like the post, but still we are showing this. So to stop that, we can change our state here again and then save. So let's refresh it again. If we are getting any kind of error, this will change back to, this is not changing. Maybe if we can do something like this, is light. Now let's save and refresh it again, and let's try to like it. As you can see, I'm not able to like this particular post as we are getting error here. So we are instantly going back to our previous state here. And now let's define our API route here. So inside app API, inside post, we can have one more folder name like post, and then route.ts. So now first we are going to import next response and next request from next server. Along with that, we are also going to import our Prisma instance from root/app/prismadb. Then we are going to import options and get server session, which we can get it from here. And also we are going to import types from our Prisma client. So let's copy all these and paste it here and include post and like. Now we are going to write post function to create a like in our database. So that export sync function, and it will be post type function. In this we are going to have request and type will be next request, then response, and this will be type of next response, and there is typo, this should be function. Now inside our function, first we are going to get our user from get server session. So let's go to the create post and we can get our user from here. Now we have a session and we have also validated if it's available or not. After that, we are going to get email from the session, and then we are going to find our user inside our database using this email. So that const user exist is equals to await prisma dot user dot find unique, and inside that pass the where condition where email will be session dot user dot email.
Now after that we are going to check if we have user in our database or not. So we can write if user does not exist, then we are going to return next response dot json, and we can pass a message here that user does not exist. Now if user exists, we are going to have a try and catch block. Now in the try block, first we are going to get body from our request.json. So we can get body from request.json, and from the body we are going to get post id. So we can destructure it. Post id will be equals to body, and using this post id we are going to find our post in the database. And to remove this error we have to use await here. Now using this post id we are going to find our existing post. So at const existing post is equals to await prisma dot post dot find unique, where id is post id. Now if we don't find any post related to this post id, we can return next response dot json, and inside that we can pass a message here that no post found with provided post id. Now if we do find the post, then we are going to create a like. Then we are going to check for the existing like on this post. So we can write const existing like is equals to await prisma dot like dot find first or unique, and inside that we can pass the where condition, and where condition will be post id will be equals to existing post dot id, and user id will be uh, user exist dot id. And now based on this value we are going to either like the post or unlike the post. Now if user have already liked the post, then we are going to get something from existing like, and if we do get anything from here, then we are going to delete the existing like. That means we are going to unlike the post. So for that we can write await prisma dot like dot delete, and then here pass the where condition, where id will be existing like dot id, and then we are going to return next response dot json, and then we can provide a message here that like post. Now if we don't find any existing like, then we are going to like that post. So we can write else, and then here we are going to write const new like is equals to await prisma dot like dot create, and inside that we are going to provide the data. So data will be user id, which will be user exist dot id, and the post id, which will be existing post dot id, and lastly we are going to return our new like. So return next response dot json and new like. Now in the catch block we are going to catch the error. First we are going to console the error clg, and then we can write error liking the post, and then we can also console the error here. After that we are going to return next response dot error, and with that this will be the API route for liking our post. Now let's save and go back to our browser, refresh the page, let's inspect it. and let's try to like it. As you can see, our post got liked, and now we have our data here of like created at id, post id and user id. And if I try to click it again, this will unlike, and now uh, I'm getting a response like the post. This should be, yeah, this should be like this, unliked post, and here should be a message, but whatever. So we can pass the message here, like the post. Now let's say, let's like it again. I'll get a message here that liked the post. Click it again, unlike the post. That means our like button is working on our post, and with that we have completed our first functionality of liking the post. Now we are going to work on the comment section. Now we are going to work on the comment section where we are going to follow a chain like pattern in our comment, just like Reddit. As you can see here, a user can comment on other comments, and this makes a chain like structure, and this is what we are going to do with our social media application as well. So for that, let's go to user engagement. Now inside the user engagement, we are going to add one more div after this div, and give this a class name, flex item center space x2 and cursor pointer. Now inside this div we are going to have a dialog, so we can import our dialog here. So import dialog from our components, then we are going to import dialog trigger, and then dialog content. Also we are going to import dialog header and dialog title. Then we are going to import dialog footer, then dialog close. And now let's go below, and inside this div we can add our dialog here. So we can add dialog here, and also we can add trigger button. So we can add dialog, and then we are going to have our dialog trigger. Now inside our dialog trigger we are going to have a icon which will be message square from Lucid React, and make this as child component. So this means that we are only allowed to add only one component inside our dialog trigger component here. Now if I try to duplicate this will throw an error. As you can see here, this is saying that React.children expect only single React child element, and if I remove this, you can see there is no error now. So this property makes this component a React component which only allows one single child inside that. Now after that we are going to have our dialog content, and then inside that we are going to have dialog header. Give this dialog content a class name and sm max width of md, and inside the dialog header we are going to write comment on this post. Then below this header we are going to have a div, and give this a class name of flex item center space x2, and inside that we are going to have a label which we are going to get from our components, and inside that we are going to write comment. Now HTML4 will be comment, and give this a class name of sr only.
and then below our label we are going to have a text area, so import that as well and then close it. Now this will have some properties. So first it will have id, and id will be comment. Then we are going to have onChange handler, so that onChange, and this will have a anonymous function which will set the comment value. So set comment content e.target.value. Now let's go above and make that state here, so that const comment content, paste it here, then set comment content is equals to use state, type will be string, and then initial value will be empty string. And now below this div we are going to have our footer, so we can have our dialog footer, and this will have some classes, so class name, and this will have sm justify start. Inside our footer we can have a button, and then the button type will be button, variant will be default. Then we are going to provide the on click handler, so on click, and this will invoke a function named comment post, and we are going to define it here, so that const comment post arrow function, and after our footer we are going to have dialog close. Inside that we are going to have a button which will close the dialog, so we can have a dialog close, and inside that we are going to have one more button which will be as cancel, and then provide the property here, type will be button, and variant will be secondary. Now let's save, and if I go to the browser here, as you can see now we have a comment icon here. If I click on this, I'll get a dialog here in which we are going to comment. Let's wrap this inside a div. Add a class name flex item center space x 4, and now we have two buttons here, cancel and submit. Okay, now this dialog will be to comment on our post for the first time. If a user is replying on other comment, then we are going to define a different method. We are not going to show the dialog in that case. Now let's define our function here. So now inside our comment, first we are going to make set is loading to true, and then we are going to make this function our sync function. After that we are going to use try and catch block, and in the try block we are going to write const response, and then we are going to call our API, so that await access dot post, and then provide the API endpoint which will be API slash comment post, and then we are going to provide the data will be post id, and that would be post dot id, and second will be content, and that would be comment content. After that we are going to console our response, so that response dot data, and if we found an error then we are going to console that error, so we can write error while commenting the post, and then we can also pass the error here and make our API endpoint to comment on the post. So inside our post inside API, and then inside post we can have one more folder name comment post, and inside that make a file name route.ts. As usual, we are going to have this imports here, and we can copy this as well up to this point, and then close this. After that, we are going to use try and catch block here. So first we are going to get our user here. We are getting body from request, and then from the body we are going to get post ID and then content. Let's see if it's smaller case or uppercase. This is uppercase, so we can have comment. After that we are going to checking for our user, and then we can copy this as well. Now after, if we don't find any user, we can return our response here that no user was found. After that we are going to find our post, so we can go to the like post, and here we can copy this and paste it here, and I think we should remove this. Yes. So now we are checking for the existing post with the post ID that we have passed here, and if we don't find any post, then we are going to return this response. Now if we do find any post, we are going to use this post ID and create a new comment, so we can write. Also, one more thing that we need to check if we have both of these values, so we can check here if we don't have the post ID or if we don't have the comment, and then we are going to return a response here, and we can pass a message that. After that, let's create our comment here, so we can write const new comment is equals to await prisma dot comment dot create, and then here we can pass the data, and data will be author ID, which will be user dot id, and then we are going to have the post ID, which will be post ID, and then the content, which will be content, which will be comment. I think I made a mistake here. I think I am passing content here, so I should also import content here, content, and then content. Let's copy this and paste here. So after creating a new comment, we are going to return a new comment, return next response dot json new comment. Now if we do find any error while doing this process, we are going to console the error. We can write error creating comment, and then we can pass the error here, and also we are going to return the error next response dot error. And now let's go to our browser, refresh the page, and let's comment on this. So we can write a comment, subscribe to the channel. Okay, now let's submit, and as you can see, we have successfully created our comment here, and Yeah, we have successfully created our comment, but this is not refreshing our page. And change this to window dot location dot reload, and so we are reloading our page after a successful comment on the post. And we can also add a loader here, so we can go to the post render or make the post creation dialog here, and then copy this and go below, paste here. Is loading is true, then we are going to show the loader here, and here pass these value and remove this button. Now save, and now this is showing please wait, because is loading is true right now. Let's refresh it and try to comment on this post again. So this will be my fourth comment, I think so, fourth comment. Then submit. As you can see, after commenting, the page got reloaded. Actually, reloading page is not the solution. We can think of a better solution here. We can actually pass a prop here, like open dialog and close dialog. So let's do that, which is a better approach, I think, in this case. Const open dialog, set open dialog, and this will be a boolean. And initial value will be false. Now we are going to pass the open dialog value to here, equals to open dialog, and here we are going to pass on click handler, and then we can have an anonymous function set open dialog to true. Then copy this and we can paste it here, and then we can make it false. And also, after a successful comment, we can set the comment to empty string, then we can set the open dialog to false. And now let's save and try it again. Refresh the page, and now let's comment on this. This will be my fifth comment. Let's submit. As you can see, our how can I remove this? We have added our comment to the post. Also, the page do not get reload and our dialog closes. So I think this is the better approach in our case here. Now you might be thinking that I completely did opposite here, but here the requirement is different and here it is different. Here we are only posting a comment, but here we are actually making a post, so we can reload our page, but this is a small work, so this is not a good solution to reload our page every time. So for a comment, we are going to just close the dialog and then also make the comment content to initial value, which is empty string. And in the post creation, we have simply reloaded the page. And now after that, first we are going to render a comment, and then we are going to work on the reply on the comment and liking of the comment. So let's get started, and first we are going to render our comment here. Okay, so let's go to the post render here. Now here we are going to make state const get comments and set get comments is equals to your state, and this type will be boolean and initial value will be false. And now let's go below, and somewhere here first let's make this cursor pointer, and then we are going to add a on click handler here which will change the state of get comment. So let's set get comment I think it is set get comment nothing. Let's go above and copy this, and the value will be reverse of the initial value get comment. Cannot find set get comment. Okay, so we made a mistake here. This should be in this component post render data. Okay, so now after changing the state, we are going to add our comment section here, and here we are going to render our comments. So we can write if the get comment value is true, then we are going to render a component which will be comment section, then close it, then pass some values here. First post id, and that would be equal to data dot id. Next we are going to pass the get comment and the set comment, so that get comment is equals to get comment, set get comment is equals to set get comment. And now let's make this component inside here, so it will be comment section dot tsx tsrefc. Then let's write the types here. So first type will be post. So first we are going to pass the post id here. So post id will be a type of string. Then we are going to have get comment, and that will be equals to boolean. Then we are going to have set get comment, and its type will be react dot dispatch, react dot set status, set action, type will be boolean, and close this. And then we are going to destructure our types here. Post id, then get comment, and then set comment. Now let's import our component here, and comments. So this should be comments and comments. Now comments. So these are some typo issues here which can be solved easily. And now we have our comment section here. So let's go here, and now if I click on this, I'll get my comment section here. Okay, so this way we will be able to show our comments. Now this should be below this. So let's go here inside our post render, and then we can cut this and paste below our user engagement. Now let's save, and now we have our comments here. Okay, and then we can also add a separator here. Okay, and we can add a separator here, then add a fragment and wrap these two components inside our fragment. And when I click on this, we will have our comments here. And now let's get our comments here. So let's go to the comments section. Now let's define a type here. So we can define an interface reply comment, and this will extend the type comment from Prisma client. So let's import that from Prisma client. Inside that we are going to have replies, and this will be a type of comment of arrays. Then we are going to have author, which will have name, type will be string, and then image, and its type will be string as well. Now we are going to have likes, so we can have type like from Prisma client, and this will be array of like. So this type of data we are going to get from our API, and to get our data we are going to use React query. So that const empty object is equals to use query from 10 stack React query, and inside that first we are going to have query key, and this will be all comments. Now second we are going to have query function, and this will be an anonymous function, and we are going to use access to get our data from API. So use access dot get, then provide the API endpoint, which will be /API /get comments, and then inside the params we are going to provide the post ID. Now this will give us response, and from that we are going to get the data. So we can write dot then response, and from that we are going to get response dot data. After that we are going to have stale time, and this will be 1 minute. Then we are going to have retry, which will be 3 times, and then we are going to have enabled false. And after that we are going to use effect here. So that use effect, this will refetch our data. So let's first get our data and other methods from use query. So we are getting our data, which will be comment data. So we are renaming that, and if we don't get any data we are going to make it equal to the empty array. Then we are going to have is loading method, is error, is fetching, then refetch, then is fetching. And now inside the use effect we are going to refetch our data if the get comments value is true and we have our post ID. So if the get comments value is true and we have the post ID, then we are going to refetch the data, and in the dependency we are going to provide get comments and post ID. So whenever post ID or get comments value changes, we are going to refetch our data. Now you can make a skeleton for that as well. So let's make a skeleton. If is loading is true, Then we are going to return a skeleton here, and class name w will be full, then h of 40 pixels, and then we can give this a color dark, bg neutral 700 and bg neutral 100. Now let's map our comment data in our JSX here. So remove this and give this div a class name. So border of 1 pixel and rounded MD, and MI will be 4. Now inside this div we are going to have one more div. Give this a class name, and that would be text to Excel, font medium, font sans, and inside that write py3 rounded MD and p4. Now inside this div we are going to have a p tag with a class name of text to Excel, font medium and font sans. Inside that write comment. And now below this p tag we are going to map over the comment data. So we can write comment data dot map comment, and also we can have an index here. Now then small parenthesis, and inside that we can have a div. Comment is declared but it's not, so we need to provide the type here. Reply comment then array. So now we will be able to map over the comment data and give this a key will be index. Now inside this div we are going to have one more div with a class name of flex item center space x3, and inside that we are going to have image tag from next image, then close it. And now inside that we can pass some properties. First, width will be of 20 pixels, then height will be of 20, then we are going to add priority and class name of rounded full and object cover. Then we are going to provide the src value. Src will be comment dot author dot image. If it's available, then we are going to have this as a URL. Otherwise we are going to have image4 dot jpeg. Lastly we are going to have alt value, which will be user image. Now below that we are going to have a p tag. So we can have a p tag here. Give this a class name font medium, and inside that we can have our author name. So write comment dot author dot name. And now after that below this div we are going to have one more p tag with a class name of py2 text neutral, and this will be 600, then text sm dark, text white, and inside that we are going to have comment dot content. Now let's save and go back to our browser, and if I click on this you'll see the skeleton over here, and after some time this will this will be gone, and as you can see we have only our header comment here, as we do not have defined the API route yet. And also one more thing, that as you can see our React query tried 3 times here to get our data, as we have defined over here that it will try to get data 3 more times. As you can see here, it first tried to get the data from this API, then 3 more times, and after these all requests we did not find anything, and our is loading state became false and our header became visible. Now we are going to define the API route to get our comments here, and then we can render here. So let's go to the post, and then we can make one more folder name get comments, and then write route.ts. So first we are going to get next response and next request from next server and Prisma, and after that we are going to define our function export async function, and it will be type get, then request of type next request, and inside that we are going to get our search params first. So we are going to get search params is equals url search params, and we are going to get it from request dot url dot split, and we are going to split it about question mark, and then we are going to get the second value of that array. Now from the search params we are going to get post id, so that const post id is equals to search params dot get post id, and then we can check it if we have post id or not. If we don't have, then we are going to return next response dot json, and then pass no post id provided. Then we are going to use try and catch block, and in the try block we are going to get all comments, so that const comments is equals to await prisma dot comment dot find many, and then here pass the where condition. So where condition will be, I want the parent comment id to be null, and then post id to be post id. Now we are going to include some extra materials, so we are going to add the replies to be true, and we are going to get author, and from author we are going to get name and image. So select name to be true, and then image to be true, and then we are going to return our response. So write return next response dot json, and then pass the comments, and if you find any error, then we are going to console the error fetching comment data, and then pass the error here, and then return next response dot error. So this will be the API to get our comments. Now let's save and refresh the page, and let's click on this, and as you can see now we have all comments here. Here we do not have any kind of comments, so we are getting only a header here. Okay, now I want to show you an error that is happening here. So when I try to get the comments here, I'm getting all comments, okay, but when I try to get comments on this post, As you can see, actually right now I don't have any kinds of comment here, so I'm getting only headers. But as you can see here, this comment data has gone and there is nothing showing here right now. Now let's comment here as well. uh, Test comment, submit, then uh, let's refresh it. Let's open this, and when I open this one, I'm getting this comment. And as you can see, this post is showing the same comment as this post is having. So this is the issue that is happening here, and to solve this we just need to add one more thing here. Right now, the reason behind that issue is that all query that is happening here in all the different posts have the same query key, and because of that the data we are getting is getting redistributed to all the posts since they all have the same query key. That means if we are refetching the data here, now this is the new data, and because they all have the same uh, query key, they will share the same data. So now this will have the same data here as well. Okay, and to solve this we are going to just provide one more unique key here, which is the post id. So now the query key will be the combination of these two, this text as well as the post id. So this will make a unique key for our use query, and because of that we will get different data in each query. So let's refresh it and let me show you again. I hope you understand. Now if I click on this, I'll get this post comment, and if I click on this, I'll get this post comment, and this comment is still showing on. That means now that each post have their own comment data, they are not sharing data to each other due to the same query key. Okay, and now that we have our comments here, we are going to add feature to be able to comment on these comments. But first let's style it a little bit more. So let's go to the comment section, and here now give this div a class name and padding of 2, and here opacity will be 80 and margin left will be 3. Save, and let's open this, and this is how it is looking. You can add some more css here to make it more beautiful, but I'm just going to go ahead with this. Now also let's display the number of comments here and the number of likes. So for that we can go to the post render, and here we can write data dot likes dot like dot length. Okay, now let's save, and as you can see it has only one like, and the user is of obviously me. And if I unlike this, let's refresh it, and now it has 0 likes. So this is working. Now similarly, now we cannot do same for our comments here. Now to get the comment count, we can get it from our API. So let's go to the get post, and here we are going to include comment. Now inside we are going to just select id. We are not going to go for the other material here. We are just going to get the IDs so that we can use the length method to get the number of comments here. Now then go to post render, and here we can add one more thing, which will be comment. Let's first console our data to check what kind of data we are getting. CLG data, and now here inside pages we are getting comment, so we can write here comment. Then it will have id of type string, and then the comment will be array of object of this particular object. So if I hover over it, you can see that our comment type is array of object, and the object is this, which contains only id here. So and let's go below, and here we can add data dot comment dot length. Now save and let's check if it's correct or not. And as you can see, now we have number of comment, which is 5 right now, and it is correct. As for this, we have only one comment. Let's add one more. Second comment on second post. And let's close this. And as you can see, now we have 2 comments and the number of comment is also true. And now that we have added the number of comments and likes, we will be focusing on the reply comment. So go to the comment section, and here we are going to, and now let's add our like button and the comment button in our comment. So below this p tag, we are going to have one more div and give this a class name. Flex item center space x5 and text sm. Dark opacity will be of 75. Now inside that, we are going to have our heart and the message icon, and also the date on which the comment has been made. So let's add a p tag here, then add a class name cursor pointer, then a heart from Lucid React, and size will be of 18. And now let's write function for liking our comment, const like comment. And now let's define our function here, so that const like comment, and that would be equals to arrow function, then make it a async. And we are also going to have post id, which will be a type of string, and then comment id, and this will be a type of string as well. Now inside the function, first we are going to check the status of our like, and for that we are going to use the comment data. And let's make a state here, const like status, and this should be inside the array, then set like status, and this will be equals to use state, and the type will be an object, and this will have a key and its value. So it will be a key value pair. Key will be comment id, which will be a type of string, and its value will be a type of boolean. And now we are going to get our default value, which we will get from our comment data here. So we are going to check if the user has liked the particular comment or not using the comment data that has been fetched here. So we can write like this. So inside our square bracket, we can have our comment data, and we are going to use the reduce function, then accumulator object, and then we are going to have comment. then arrow function and curly braces. Now first we are going to get a boolean if the user has liked that particular comment or not, and for that we are going to use the sum method. So let's see how it is done. Like write const is liked, and this will be equals to comment dot likes, and from this we are going to find uh, that like which has been liked by the current user, and for that we can use find method, but we just need the boolean, so that we are going to use a sum method. Now this will have like, and inside the function this like dot user id should be equals to the current user id, and we are going to get our current user using the use session hook. So import use session from next.react, and I suggest you to make a separate file to get the current user, since we are using it in many places. So that const data and its name will be session equals to use session. Now using this session we are going to compare our likes, so that session.user.id. Now after getting a boolean we are going to assign this value to the accumulator object and its corresponding comment id. So we can write accumulator comment dot id, and this will be equals to is liked. Okay, and then we are going to return our object which is the accumulator. Now we are going to also add the type here. So our type will be as object, and this object will have a key value pair. Key will be comment id, and that would be type of string, and value will be a type of boolean, and this will show if the user has liked the uh, particular comment or not. So we can console and check it like status. Let's save and go back to our browser, and for a second let's go to the post render and comment our data here. Refresh the page, click on this, and this is saying something that cannot read properly sum. So for that we can go to the comment section, and here we can add a question mark sign. If we don't have any likes, then we are not going to do anything. We are just going to return an empty object here. So save, and now let's get our comments, and as you can see right now I have not liked any comment here. Okay, that's why I'm getting an empty objects here. And inside the function first we are going to inverse this status, and let's also make a state here for loading. Write const is loading, set is loading is equals to use state boolean, initial value will be false, is loading. So we can have capital value here. Okay, now inside the function we are going to first set is loading to true. After that we are going to change the status of the like, so we can have const updated status like status is equals to object where we are going to spread the like status, and from that we are going to first get the key which is the comment id, and then we are going to inverse the value of that key. So like status, and then pass the key here, and then we are going to it here set like status, and then pass the updated like status. After that we are going to use try and catch block, and inside that we are going to write const response is equals to await access dot post API route will be API slash like comment, and then pass the data here, which will be post id and comment id. We can also console our response, and in the catch we can console our error here. So we can write error liking comment, and lastly we are going to make set is loading to false. Now here we can have the syntax, and if is loading is true. So if is loading is true, then we are going to have, we can have pointer event none. Then we can add on click handler here, and then pass our function which is like comment, and then pass the values here which will be post id and the comment id. So write post id and comment dot id is not assignable to the okay. Since this is not returning anything, we are going to use anonymous function here, and now the other is gone. Now let's go to the user engagement, and from here we can copy this and paste here. And we can then import this from React icons and change this to like status, and then pass the key will be comment dot id. Let's save and go back here, and as you can see we have our icon. And what is this? So I think we have consoled something here. This is the like status. So like status is right now undefined here. And now let's make our API route. So go to the API and inside post, or maybe let's make a one more folder here, name comment, and then we can have a folder name like comment route.ts, and we can just copy this and paste here, and this time we are going to get post id as well as comment id. So let's go here and let's see what we are passing. So this is the comment id, and then add it here, and now we are going to add one more condition that comment id will be the comment id, and here as well. Okay, now let's save. We can remove this, save, and let's go back to our browser, refresh the page. Now let's try to like this. And as you can see, let's remove this. I'm not able to show you. Let's like this one. As you can see, I'm getting the response like the post. This should be like the comment, status 200 and everything else. Let's refresh it, and as you can see this is not working. Let's go here. Let's try to console our like status. Like status. So this is still undefined. We need to debug it. So session.user.id like.user.id. Let's also console our comment data. Author, and we do not have likes I think here. Reply comment. Let's go to the API get comment. So let's go to the API get comments, and then we can include likes here. This will be true. Save, and let's refresh it again, and now this should be working since we have like data now, and still not working. Problem was that actually we are getting like from our database and we are using likes here. So this should be like, and we can write it as L or Li. Okay, now let's save, and this should work. Let's save it, and as you can see now we have our liked icon. Let's unlike this again. We have data unlike the post. We are going to change it later, and we also have our uh, status, like status that I have consoled here. So we have false to false, true, false, false, false. So now the status is also changed, and we have only one liked comment. So this is working, and now let's go to the API and let's change the message here. Liked comment, liked comment. And now let's go back to comment section, and now that we are done with the like part, we are going to work on the comment part. So let's go down here. So now let's add one more p-tag here, and this will be to show the comment date. So we can have new date, then inside that pass comment created at, and then we can change this to date string. Okay, let's save, and now you should have date here, comment date here. Okay, then we are going to work on our reply comments. Give this a class name first, cursor pointer, and py2, and then inside that we are going to have our message icon. So add message square, and the size will be of 18, and now we have a message icon here, and also let's make this 18 and this one 18 as well. Okay, so now everything is in the correct size. Let's remove these consoles. Now when we click on this, here text area will open and we will be able to reply to these comments. Okay, so what we can do here, we are going to make a new component here named post reply
comment dot tsx and tsrefc. Now inside the props we are going to have first id will be a type of string. Then we are going to have post id and this will be string as well. Now let's destructure them here, id and post id, and we are going to make some states. First will be state for our comment data, so comment content set comment content, and this will be equals to use state, and type will be of string or undefined, and initial value will be undefined. Then we are going to have loading state, so that const is loading, set is loading is equals to use state, and type will be boolean, initial value will be false. And now inside this div we are going to have one more div. Give this a class name of flex item center space x2 and mb3. And now inside this div we are going to have text area, and then this will have id of comment, and then on change handler, on change it will have an event, and we are going to set the comment content using event.target.value. After that we are going to have a button here, button, and we can write submit here, submit, then variant will be default and size will be of small sm. And now let's define our reply comment function, so that const reply comment is equals to, and this will be an async function, and inside that first we are going to set is loading to true, and then we are going to use the try and catch block. In the try block we are going to write const response is equals to await access dot post, and API endpoint will be API slash reply comment, and pass the data will be post id, then content, and this will be comment content. Then we are going to have parent comment id, and this will be id. So let me explain what is parent comment id. So if you are replying on this comment, then this comment's id will become the parent comment id of our reply. So we are passing the id of this comment in this component, and then we are assigning this id to the parent comment id. Okay, so this way we will be able to reply to this comment. After that we can console our response, and we can also console our error here. So we can have error replying to comment, error, and lastly we are going to make set is loading to false. Okay, and then we are going to have on click handler here, and inside that we are going to pass our reply comment function. So reply comment function, and since this is not returning anything, we are going to use anonymous function. Okay, now let's save and go back to the comment section. And here after this div we are going to get our reply comment component. So reply comment component, and then here and then we can pass id, and that would be comment dot id, and then post id. So post id will be comment dot post id. Now let's save and go back here, and now you will see that all these comment have their own reply text area. Now we will use the toggle button to show this. So when we click on this area will show. But now let's go and try to comment on the first post. So we can write reply to first post, first comment, and let's submit it. And actually we do not have the API endpoint yet, so let's make that. But first go to the reply comment, and here we can add disabled, and if is loading is true, then we are going to make it disable. And now let's go to the API, and then inside comment we can add one more folder named reply comment, and then route.ts. So now let's go to the command post and copy this and paste here, and we are going to do some changes here. Now from body we are going to get post id, content, and parent comment id. So like parent comment id. After that we are going to check for these values. So if any of these are not available, we are going to send a response that provides the data. Then we are going to check the user, existing post, then we are going to create a new comment, and this time we are also going to pass the parent comment id here, and that's it. Now let's save, and now let's try to comment. So let's refresh it, open the comments, and now let's try to reply to this comment. So we can write a reply to first comment and then submit. And now we have our data. We have parent comment id and content required to first comment. Now let's go to the Prisma Studio and comment, and as you can see, now we have our comment here, reply to the first comment, and this has a parent comment id. So this is working. Now let's go to the comment section again, and now we are going to render this component conditionally, and for that we are going to define a state just like the like status. So below this we are going to write const show reply set reply set show reply, and that is equals to use state, and the type will be an object in which we are going to have a key value pair, and key will be a key, our type will be string. Then we are going to have its value, which will be a type of boolean, and we can wrap it inside the object here. Okay, and the initial value will be an empty object. And now we are going to define the toggle function to change the state of this status according to its key value. So we can define const toggle reply or show reply, and inside that we are going to pass comment
id. This will be a type of string. Now comment id will be our key here. Okay, so our key is comment id. So let's write set show reply, and this will be a function. And now first we are going to spread our previous value. Okay, so this way we will be able to toggle the state for each, and we will be able to show this component uh, by clicking on these icons. So let's go here and we can add on click handler, and then we can pass our function here toggle show reply, and inside that we are going to pass comment dot id. And since this does not return anything, we are going to use the anonymous function. Now let's save, refresh, and it is still showing. So yeah, we have to use our condition here. So we can write show reply, then pass the comment id, comment dot id, and if it's true, so if this value is true, then we are going to render this component, otherwise we are not going to render this component. Now let's save, and as you can see, now we don't have our component here, which is the reply comment. And when I click on this, only this component is showing, not all of them. Okay, and this is what we wanted. We can open all of them if we want to, and close them also. And yeah, so now we are able to reply to these comments. And now that we have done with our replying on the comments, the next thing is to render our reply comments, and this is the most important part in this functionality. Now as you know that in our comment data we have replies here. Okay, here as you can see in our comment data we have replies here in each comment. Now based on the length of the replies, we will show a button here to see reply of this comment. So we will use the length of the replies to render more replies in our comment section. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So here, so after this we are going to check if the comment dot replies dot length, and if this is greater than 0, then we are going to render a component. But right now let's render a button here. Okay, and we can add a variant which will be ghost, and we can write replies here, and the size will be of sm. Let's save, and now as you can see, this comment has some replies, as I have already written some replies to first comment. This also does not have any kind of replies, only this comment have replies. That's why we are seeing this button over here. Now if I try to reply this comment as well, let's write second reply comment. Now let's submit, and let's refetch, and as you can see we now have reply button here as well, since this comment now has a reply. That means this is working, and now we are going to render a component here instead of a button, and this button will be inside of that component. Okay, so let's make that component here. So the component we are going to make will be const middle reply comments, and it's just a random name, you can choose whatever you want, and this will have some props. So let's define the props here. Let's take this name, type, and this will have parent comment id, and this will be a type of string, and then query key, and this will be type of string. Now let's destructure that. Parent comment id and query key. Now we are going to use the React query to query our data. So write const and then object, and this will have data is loading and refetch, and then is fetching, and then pass the type. So type will be reply comment. Inside that we are going to have query key. Query key will be query key and reply comment. So each time our query key will be different, so the data will not get mixed. Then we are going to have a query function, and this will be an anonymous function access dot get. Then API endpoint will be API slash get replies, then pass the params here, and that would be parent comment id. And then after getting our response, we are going to get our data dot then response is equals to response dot data. Then stale time will be of 1 minute. The retry will be of 3 times, and enabled will be false. That means it will not fetch the data automatically. Now after that we are going to return our function, and inside that we are going to have a div and then a button. Now disabled will be equals to is fetching, and then we are going to have on click handler on click, and this will refetch the data. Give this a class name, that would be text sm, size will be of sm, and variant would be ghost. And inside that write replies, and we can remove this, and we can call our middle reply comment component and pass the parent comment id, and this would be comment.id. okay, and then we are going to pass the query key, and this will be comment.id same. And now let's console our data here, clg data, and let's define our API route. So inside comment, make one more folder, name get replies, and then route.ts. So now let's go to the get comments and copy this and paste here, and we are going to change a little bit here. So this is all correct, but we are going to use this time parent comment id, so that parent comment id, and this would be same for this one, and then we can actually remove all this. Okay, Now let's write const reply comments is equals to await prisma dot comment dot find many, and where condition will be where parent comment id will be the parent comment id, and then we are going to include replies here. Also we are going to include author, and author will have its name and image. So author will have its name and the image. We are going to have these two values from the author, and now in the response we can pass this. Okay, so we are getting this. So our data will have author and replies, which is actually comment, and we can also have likes here. So like true. Now let's save and go back to our browser, and now if I click on this, as you can see I'm getting my reply data, and the reply data is reply to the first comment. Now if I click on this, I'll get my second reply, this one, and this is the second reply comment, and everything else is here. Reply is also here. So this is working, and now let's render it here. So let's go back to the comment section, and now we are going to make one more component, and inside that component we are going to pass this data. So now next component will be const reply comments. Okay, and then arrow function. Now this will have reply data, and the type will be reply props. Let's make that type here, reply props, and this will have reply data, and the type will be reply comment. And now we are going to return, and inside that we are going to map over our reply data. So let's have a div. Inside that we are going to map over the reply data. So reply data dot map comment, then index, then return, since we are using the curly braces here. And inside that we are going to have a div, give this a key will be index, and then class name my4 p2, and border left of 1 pixel. Now inside this div we are going to have one more div, and give this a class name flex item center space x3. Inside that we are going to have image. So actually we can go above and we can copy these lines, copy all these and paste it here. Okay, now let's save and go back here, and let's see our comments. Now if I click on this, I should get, okay, let's call our component here. So we are going to have reply comment, and inside that we can pass reply data, which will be data. So we can add a condition here,
and let's also rename it reply comment data, pass it here and here, and let's add a condition here. So if the reply comment data is available, and we are also going to have query key, and if it's equals to reply comment data 0th index dot parent comment id. So if both are true, then we are going to render our this component. Now let's save. Now I should not get any error here. Yeah, let's add a question mark. And if I click on this, I should get my replies here. And as you can see, now I have my reply here, reply to the first comment. So this is working. Okay, I'm getting my replies here. Now if I click on this, I'll get my this comment reply. So this is working. And now since we have rendered our reply comment, now we are going to add this like, comment and date, and also if we have another reply, we are going to add this button as well. So let's add it here as well. So after this div, we are going to work on that. Now since we are going to show this again, we are going to use the same concept here. So after this, let's copy actually this all, and we are just going to paste it here. Okay, and also this as well. So we can go here and paste, and then some more things. These are the things that we are going to need. And this will be reply data. And there's one error, that is this is the post id, and at this place we are going to have comment dot post id. Okay, now let's save, and this will work just like this one. And now as you can see, we have like, comment and a date, and if I click on this, I'll get my writing comment area here. Okay, so this is working. So now this is working, and that's it. This is what we needed to do for our chained reply comments. Now let's comment on this one. Let's write reply to reply to second comment. So we are replying to the reply of second comment. Now let's submit, and yeah, we have successfully made our comment. You may not be able to see it, but I am seeing it. Let's refresh it, and this is the first reply, and this is the second reply. And now as you can see, now we have a button. That means this reply has another reply, and as you can see, this is the new reply. Let's comment on this one as well. Make a comment here, reply to reply to. I'm just adding reply again. Submit,
and let's refresh it again. Now we have 9 comments here: reply, 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 and this is it. And as you can see, we are able to comment to the comments and then reply to the comment and then reply to the reply of comment. So with this we have completed our comment section. Now we are going to also add the delete option here, so the user that have commented to the this post or to other comments will be able to delete their comment as well. So we are going to add that functionality here as well, but that is for the next video. And in the next video we are going to work on the sharing and saving the post and other parts of our homepage, and also we are going to render our video post and the image post. So thank you for watching the video, and please do write comment if you don't understand anything about this topic. Okay, now one more thing, that as you can see here, now we have 5 likes on this post including the comment likes, that we are going to solve it in the next video. But as you can see, we are only able to see the likes on the reply comments, not on the actual comment, that means the first comment. We are not able to see the likes on them. I have actually liked these two posts, these two comments. Okay, so to solve that, we are just going to change the name of the states here. So let's add underscore 1, and then here as well, and here as well, and here as well. So now let's save, and now as you can see, we have 1 2 3 4 and 5 likes, which is the number of likes here. So this was a small problem and we were able to solve it.